coming in.
These are folks from your investment club, or you have folks?
Yeah, it's mostly from our investment club. So usually there is like anywhere from like 50 to 100 people that are in the room for these conversations. We do once a month.
I'm shy, yo.
We want to tell us how to build network.
So there's no way I could pull that off and say I'm shy. I'm shy. I'm very shy.
Well, that's good, because one of the things I'm curious about is so I tweeted about meeting World, and he seemed so introverted. Like, we saw each other at the airport. I even didn't want to say hi to him. I'm just like, World.
Okay. Yeah, he's a true guy. He's a true guy.
And I'm just like, so he's clearly an introvert, but like, how does he, like, how, artists, there's this pressure to be like.
There's something I learned from introverts, and it was a conversation in the group actually.
Yeah.
I'll share it. Maybe if you ask me as a question, I'll share it so that more people can get. But there's something I learned that was very.
Let me write that. I'm definitely gonna. I have an introvert question here, so I'll add it.
It's a very, very important piece of it. I think we should talk about personality types and energy and everything, because it was I'll call it a misconception that I had, and I got cleared about it. Which is one of the things too. The community is like, people will clear you like nicely, like you. It's not even arguments. Like they'll clear your doubts real quick. All the things that you think people. And another thing I like is there's no pretense. So it ain't like people won't tell you stuff to your face and then in your back and they're trying to. It's straight. But I'm really excited about this conversation. Someone just asked, because we have hosted Manasa, like you said, and they gave this formation about personal finance, and I added strong network to the midfield, to the human capital. I was thinking it can be an attack, because you can get money from your network too, or from having a strong network. I know people that do contracts without even putting one area down. And so so someone else said, please, can you explain why network is part of personal finance? I said, you know what, I'm actually doing this.
You need to be on, that person needs to be on this call. All right, so we have, it's 4 minutes in. We normally wait until it's like 5 minutes. We have about 44 people that have joined in already. So let me just give a brief shout out. So hi everyone, welcome to Rise Investment Club meetings. A lot of you now are regulars, but I also know that there's a few of you who are attending or joining us for the first time. So what we do is every month we come together on a Zoom call like this. We have interesting conversations that contribute towards the wealth building journey that Rise is helping our users, our members, our community, and everybody else that wants to attend. Just that journey that we're all trying to make together. So this month's session, we've been having conversations about how your network, so there's that common saying that your network contributes to your net worth, right? I've been having conversations with Bola, who is our guest today, about how exactly you can think of your network as part of the tools that will contribute to your financial success, and not just your financial success, your overall success, right? Because again, it's not just about, even though we talk about financials and how to invest well, truth of the matter is it's not really precisely about the money. It's about how to live more successfully overall. And so the more he talked to me about it, the more I realized, wait, so you can actually think of your network as an investment. You can think of it as an asset that you invest in, and it pays you dividends. You actually reap benefits from it, and it contributes to your wealth in a very intentional way. So part of that was what led me to say, okay, let's have him here to speak to us. So he's let me do a proper introduction. So Bola Lawal has a lot of feathers in his cap. So he's the founder. The first time I ever interacted with him was about Scholar X, and it was a social enterprise trying to really help support. And but you can clarify if I mixed it up, but trying to help support people who are skilled but need more resources to actually get their education. And there was a lot more things involved in that, but that's kind of like the conversation. The first conversation I remember having with him was, hey, how can we work together? How can we support people who have the skills, have the intelligence, but they don't have the resources to go further with education? That's led to a very big education platform called LearnAm that he started, that leverages, like regular text messages, phones, video recordings, things that are accessible to bottom of pyramid people, but giving them ability to learn and upskill in almost every skill set you're looking for. Has had partnerships with state governments, with telecoms companies to try and push the distribution for this. And I thought, okay, that's actually bigger than Scholar X in the sense of the impact that he's had. And then this year, he added me to a community that he also started. So he's the convener of a community called Premia Business Network. And Premia Business Network is a collection, it's an invite-only community, but it's a collection of business people, professionals, everyday people, but people that have something that they bring to the community. And then everyone is kind of like, because it's a closed circle, everyone's open with sharing, with knowledge, with conversations, with banter. And earlier this year, when I had a loss in my family, the Premia Business Network community and Bola himself actually stood with me through that process. So it's both personal and professional, and it's been such a revelation. So those are some of the things that I know Bola by, and those are some of the reasons why I asked him to come today and be part of our conversation. So Bola, you're welcome. Can you add anything to what I've said so far?
Thank you very much. The most important thing that he didn't add is that I'm not a serious person. That's the one thing. I don't think myself. I don't take myself serious at all. I still think all of this is a farce. Like you really invited me. All of the things that I've been doing, or even some of the success, I still can't believe it. Like it's like
you've won awards and been to. Yeah, but he's really not he'll be joking and laughing, except when you do anything. So I know you are someone that is also very particular about how things should be done. And when people are doing anyhow, like he'll switch it up. That's the one time I know, like, Bola will not, he'll wear a straight face because yeah.
Okay, so let me explain that part. I'm an unapologetic person. And I don't know if there are no Nigerians here, but I'll say this in pidgin. Hopefully, I know the shame. which probably will lead into the whole network thing. I'm what's the worst someone can say? No.
Right.
Or they don't like. I mean, because for example, what AK was talking about, it's hard to manage a community of peers. People that, it's not like you're paying them or they're paying you, or they'll soon be paying when we start the subscription. But but it's very hard. I'm talking about CEOs, C-suites, investors, people that you are even like, imagine you telling an investor that, hey, please, can you take that post down?
knowing you will pitch to them in a few months.
Same person you're gonna go pitch to. But I think people respect that actually. Once you kind of show that you're gonna stand your ground. Like for example, we have this no partisan politics stance, and from time to time we have people push back, and then they see that, okay, me too, I'm an immovable object on this. So yeah, but I'm mostly on serious. But when it comes to getting stuff done, I could be annoying, but I always apologize anyways. So, but I don't consider myself a serious person in as much as I do a lot of serious things, and I'm what I would say is I'm intentional. The intentionality about what I do means a lot to me, including preserving and managing relationships. That's very, investing in relationships, this whole investing in network as an asset class. So, I don't want to dive deep. So I want the questions to answer it one by one. Yeah.
So let's so just to those of you that are on the call, we have like 84 of us now. Please also like put your name or where you're dialing in from on the chat box. Again, this is Bola's first time joining our community. Some of you I actually know by name, but just if you can put your name and where you're dialing in from. So the topic today, just so that we can kind of kick that off officially, the topic today is network as an asset class, or how you can invest in your network, how investing in your network contributes to your wealth building journey. So the premise of our conversation is the fact that a lot of times, again, people hear that saying that your network determines your net worth, but me, I can speak for myself to say that I've always treated it as okay, yeah, sure, it's what people say, but like, you have your network and you kind of like just organically pick up people, you meet with people, you develop relationships, and some of those relationships contribute to what you're going to do. But there's no real, I've never started and said, you know what, I have to actually start paying attention to how I build my network. I just assume that's something that should just happen, right? But when I look back at my own experience, I realized that some of the most successful projects I've done, or some of the things that have brought me the most success, came from people that entered my network, either by something I did or something they did, or somehow where we met. And that serendipity led to other things. Let me give you an example. There was a time, how I met Gossi Okawoke. He was running Benny American. And I spoke to him. I reached out on Facebook. I was like, oh, I like what you're doing. Let's have a conversation about it. And then we spoke, and he was trying to do fundraising. And so I was already in that space where I've done that for a lot of people. So I kind of like just helped him out. We worked on this together. I didn't really think about it for anything. I wasn't trying to make money. I was just like, oh, let me help someone out. And so we kind of like became friends from there. Well, he was the one that then introduced me to Shay Taylor of Tech About at the time, who then introduced me to Timmy. Timmy and I started talking about his investment life, and we ended up starting a company together that brought me into YC, right? The same thing happened. I met in 2011. We used to follow each other on Twitter, but then there was a time he came to New York, and I was like, oh, you're in New York, let's link up. So we linked up, spent that afternoon just talking and everything. And, we became friends from there. So when I was starting Rise, again, he was one of the first people, before we even had a product, he wrote me a check. And my co-founder for Rise, Bosun, I met him through EE because, again, he used to work with EE on Flutterwave at the early days, and they also did Andela at the early days. So I met him with, again, a casual meeting, and we kind of kept in touch. But once I needed to start what we're doing now, he was the best person to then work with. So I realized, wait a minute, most of the success that I've had didn't come from, oh, this is how brilliant you are. It just came from meeting the right people. And then as you guys build that relationship led to the things that we're doing today. So that then that was my first understanding that maybe I should be more intentional about how I network and how I build my network. Then I met Bola, and I found out that he is someone that knows and does this very, very well. And our ethos in Rise is, if there's knowledge out there and there's someone that has that knowledge, we're going to bring it in here and we're going to share it among ourselves. And then we're going to apply it to our lives so that at the end of the day, all of us are better off for it. So that is my intro to the conversation about network as an asset class. Bola, you've already mentioned, I've mentioned some of the things you do, but can you do like a 2-minute or 3-minute introduction of yourself, kind of like your brief story of how you got to this point, and then we can jump into the questions for this topic.
Thank you very much, AK. Like you all know, my name is Bola Lawal. I shuttle between Houston, Texas, and Lagos, Nigeria. I'm currently in Houston, back in Lagos next month. I started off a career in Houston. I went to college here. I studied accounting. I wanted to be in the finance space, so I worked in about 7 years before I decided to start Scholar X. I started Scholar X while I was still working. And so my career span before entrepreneurship, working in finance, working in energy commodities, supporting traders with heavy transactions. And then got into, I just like the systems that we use then. So I got into consulting with Accenture, consulting for commodity companies and things like that. And then started Scholar X because I have, to help people access scholarships, because scholarship was how, and loans was how I was able to finish university here. School fees is very expensive. So started Scholar X. The use case was, we built this thing, everybody would use it, we'll make so much money. Then we realized real quick that a captive market can really afford to go studying abroad. So we pivoted a little bit into a crowdfunding platform to help people get access to school fees. And that was one of the things that, from my network and from just putting things out there, we raised a lot of money for students in Nigeria, helped schools refurbish classrooms. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Help schools refurbish classrooms, do a lot of stuff. And it was quite interesting. But then COVID happened, nobody was really funding. It didn't seem like a scalable thing. I remember doing a competition at Worthing, and Pule, as a Pule, CRA Ventures was one of the mentors. And I had said, if anybody wants feedback, let me know. So I took it up and reached out. And one time I was in Lagos. So he called me and we spoke for like 40 minutes. And he said, it's all well and good and everything, but let me ask you a question. This thing you're doing, how much work do you have to put in to make $1 million in revenue? And I was like, oh, okay. You need to be thinking about scalability. So I just didn't think that, scalable. And so was just thinking, I had that back in my mind. And then we tried something called, I'm one of the people that will try stuff. So we tried doing skills fund, didn't really take off because we didn't get the capital to be able to lend people money to go, learn how to code or anything like that. And during COVID, opportunity came. There are a lot of grants out there. We applied for a grant, which we luckily won. We got $200,000 to build a platform, virtual platform to help people learn skills. That's how LearnAm came about. And part of that too was from network, because before we applied, I always do this big grants. I'll do like a brainstorm session. So brought in folks from Airtel, who eventually became our partner, Airtel, some investors, some people within the network. And that was where we kind of got the general idea of what to apply with. Started LearnAm, launched LearnAm late September 2021. It's doing amazing, making revenue, getting users. Now we're doing LearnAm for business. We have APIs where we can link it to companies' platforms, so your platform can actually be a learning platform. So, and the key thing about LearnAm is in localized dialect, so Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Pidgin, and of course English. And then we'll continue to expand from there. And outside from that, LearnAm happened last year, May 13th was the official date. Started off as, again, friends wanted to come do barbecue in my house, started a group. There's a bunch of folks working in that gig. that live here but had interest in Nigeria actively. And next thing I was like, I want to add some of my guys in Nigeria so we connect. So initially we had like 80 male members before we had our first female, because it was just a bunch of guys. Now we're about 35% women in the community, and today I think yesterday today alone we added like 3 women. So we're continuing to grow. LearnAm, I'm sorry, PBN has opened my eyes, even for someone that I feel like I'm an extrovert, and I communicate and invest in relationships, but it opened my eyes. I asked new members yesterday that is this place intimidating, and what are some of the observations? And someone said the emotions break between, I don't know anything, to I didn't even think about that. These people have too much fun though. And that's so what we're trying to do with PBN is mimicking a real life community, albeit being virtual. So that's why I used to, one of the things, we have a governing council of like 12 people. So it's not just me that governs it, even though I'm the lead community moderator and everything, and founder, CEO, whatever you want to call me. But used to find like, man, you're bringing all these people. Is this person a CEO? Is this person a executive? I'm like, which community do you know that everybody at the same level? We need to have folks that will also grow into what we are building here. I don't need you to everyone to be a CEO. You can come in, you be a product manager, you could be a data analyst, and you could rise up and become an executive, and that's our glory as well too. So with the community dynamic, it's been eye-opening. We've done a whole lot of stuff. We do weekly pitches, we do a lot of things. We had a personal finance session yesterday. We have a lot of value adding. Even the bands, there's value in it.
They do have value. All right.
And now we have subgroups, including a creative corner with artists, managers, video directors, producers. We have a fintech group, it's the largest group. We have an edtech group, it's small. Health is small. Agric is growing. We have an agric and food group as well. So the key thing is to bring people together and extract value. And this whole thing goes back to what Pule told me about how do you make $1 million. It's about scalability. And so one of the things that your network will also do for you is help you scale ideas, scale products, scale initiatives, I mean, we have, you think about it from the start, but we have the CEO of Big Invest Auto in the group. We also have Tunde from Slum to School in the group. So it's not everybody has to be a capitalist, or everyone has to make a certain type of money. And that's the whole essence of a community. If you go to your street now and poll everybody, they don't all work in the same place. They don't all have the same life trajectory. They don't have the same thing. They may not have all of the same thing in common, but they may have some things in common, but they are also diverse, which is the whole idea of community. So I'll stop there and let's get going into questions.
Yeah, lovely. So while we're talking, guys, if you have questions that you want to ask, so this is just us having that Q&A driven conversation. So if you heard the topic and there's this particular question you want to ask, put in the group, put in the Q&A. We'll come to that section and just pick up some questions. But let me start from, so when we talk about network as an asset, so I know what an asset class is. It's like there's a category of investments that behave a certain way. So what do you say makes your network an asset class? So what makes it an investment? How do you treat it as an investment? What are the actions that you consider as this is how you invest in the network? And then what are the potential benefits of investing in your network? Let's just start from that.
All right, perfect. So let's even go, what's an asset class? So it's something that's investable, right? Something you take money, you put in, and your hope is to get a return from it, correct? As an avid, intentional networker, I look at it as well. But if you don't put something in, you don't get something back, right? So if you don't put money in an investment, you're not going to get a return. This the same way I look at relationships and networking. So we'll invest something, we'll get something now, but it has to be investable, right? If it's not investable, then what are we doing? We're wasting our time. So when I think about, but then there's something before that. There's a layer before that. Why do you invest? Because you want to make money, right?
Yes.
And why do you invest the way you invest? Maybe you invest solo or you invest with a group. Sometimes you also invest because a certain way, because your risk appetite is low, high, medium. Same way with networking and relationships. And the key thing for me with the whys, I always tell people, why do you do all? I'm like, I wasn't born with money. I think rich overall. I'm not. I'm not a trust fund kid. I'm not. I'm not a silver spoon kid. I didn't suffer. My mom was God rest her soul. Was a single mom. Worked all the way to a director level at Lagos State government, or assistant director, I think. Lagos State government, had her own businesses. She's from a royal family. You know, when she remarried, my stepdad rose to all kinds of positions and everything. So I'm not a poor kid, but I'm not a rich kid either. But what's bigger than my journey is my goals. Maybe it's a little bit good to also talk about my life journey, just in like 10, maybe like 30 seconds. Is that the way I am, because people's journeys also and the way they do things also matter. When I was in the uni in 2007, I got diagnosed with a form of blood cancer called Hodgkin's lymphoma. And it caused me to do about 6 months of rigorous chemotherapy. But I survived, and I've been.
Thank God. I probably would not have met you.
Cancer free since 2007. But the key thing here is the way I live my life and thinking about, you just have one life to live, and life is so precious. So when I think about going back to, I'm not a rich kid, but my dreams and my aspirations are fueled by my purpose, my increased purpose from surviving cancer. So I have big dreams, big goals, fearless. But I didn't come from money. So how am I going to be able to measure up with that, right? And because when we started Scholar X, and I would do everything to network, go to as many conferences, write that. I used to write a column, opportunity, something, I can't remember what it was again, on Bella Naija. If you Google my name, Bola Lawal, Bella Naija, you see that I used to write.
Let me do that right now. Let me do that.
I think it was an opportunity then. I can't remember what I called it. But I'm very good at putting terms together and conceptualizing things. Two things that I think I'm gifted at that I think God gave me is
Opportunity Hub. Look at that.
Opportunity Hub, yes. I think I'm gifted at is conceptualizing things and connecting the dot. Like if I meet you now and you say, "Oh, my name is I do this person," trust me. I do this a lot in the community. I know someone that you guys should.
You guys should talk.
Like I've seen, I've seen like 10 plays ahead of what you even see. No, I just feel like I'm gifted at that, conceptualizing and connecting dots. So I just used to do all this stuff, and people ask me, "Well," I said, "I don't have money." I don't have money for PR. I don't have money for all this stuff. I'm just going to use what's available to me. And posting on social media is free. If it's writing articles, and a lot of these things have just prepared me for some of the things I do now. Introduced me to different networks. I've been to all sort of accelerators across the globe, from Qatar to South Africa. Google Launchpad took us to Kenya, being exposed to a lot of things. And then as you go, you start to look at what are your advantages, right? Which is another thing the network is for you. It's a big advantage. And so you try to utilize the power of a network and invest in it. Now, while it's an asset class, obviously it's not a direct monetary return that you get.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you have a friend now, they'll be giving you 100,000 naira every week. That doesn't work that way. But you and that friend could work together on a project that will give you 100 million naira rather than you working on it together on your own. I'll give you an example. We invested in Identity Pass as a syndicate from GBN. That's one other thing we do, Premia Business Network. And at that point, I didn't have any money. I was not liquid. I was not liquid, but the key thing about a network is the trust that you build in your network. Which is one of the things I want us to start exploring more is lending within the network, because most people trust each other and okay, at least I know what you do, I know where to find you, I know, and stuff. So I initiated the thing because someone in the network introduced the founder, Larry, to the network, and we added him and everything. It was raising. I had known Larry from Acantia, no, not even Acantia, hostels. He was working on this hostels platform. It's they called it My Paddy. They changed the name to My Paddy. Then he joined Acantia, so I've known him. And then the management, KYC is still a huge problem, with big gap in the country. Like I said, I feel like I'm gifted at certain things. I said, this is a no-brainer. Like, we all need to invest. Like, I'm mad. So I started texting my guys, like, you need to invest, though. You need to invest, though. we made it known in the group and everything. Time for me to drop my own commitment. I said, I don't know you. Wale, it was a Bola Lawal. I said, okay. And I told my co-founders, I think we had some money we could put together, but we had not received the money. Something while I'm going to do 5K, but I'm going to borrow us that 5K. Okay, don't worry, you pay me later. That's how I did it. And money was available, obviously took his money and stuff. We invested 3M valuation. In 6 months, they raised again because we invested before they got into YC.
Oh, that is.
And even the YC application, when you were applying, you can have so many applications, and then you can give a good word. Long short, they got into YC, everything, and then they raised it 6 months after. They raised, I think 2 point something million at 25 million valuation. And so that's even out of the 5K that we invested, I have 3,000 in it. My co-founder has 2,000 in it. My 3,000 is now valued on paper, albeit at $24,000. So I have a position out there of $24,000 strictly based on network.
On trust and network. Literally, strictly based on trust and net. That is a profound story because, and that's a good, I guess that's a good way to start to see. There's something I obviously pick up on Yoruba, but I can't really say it in Yoruba, but there's a way people say that if you're not rich in money, you can be rich in people. Like I've heard people say that a lot. And then from
that's what it means in Yoruba. If I don't have money, I have people.
I have people, right. Yes. So in my place, we say something similar to that. We're like, there's places that money cannot get you, that people can get you, right? So it's pretty much the same thing. So if you're not rich in money, even if you are rich in money, you can be rich in money and be poor in people, and it will cost you, right? Or there are certain things that you will not be able to get. So you're a business person, there might be a contract that you are very, very qualified for, but you don't know about it, right? So we talk about information.
Let me tell you a negative one. Okay, sorry. Let me continue real quick. Negative one. So when we were applying for GSMA grant, I know created PBA. I didn't know this many people or influence, and it was a fragile moment for me too because I lost a bunch of my team members, and it was just struggle, period. So the grant was 150,000 pounds to 250,000 pounds, but you had to match it 50%. So, so you have to show that you're matching, whether you have cash in the bank, whether an investor is guaranteeing it, or there's a business relationship that is guaranteeing that amount of 125. So depending on what you ask for. So we asked for 150 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 125,000 was the match. But I could have asked for 250,000 pounds. But because I was afraid, I said, where will I see the money from? I don't have money. I'm one of those people, I'm very, very honest with myself, and I'll come up straight. So I was like, do tomorrow. First of all, I didn't know that we were going to get selected, but that's 150, that's 100,000 pounds that we could used, which is about 300 and something thousand, probably close to $300,000 dollars. Yeah. So we shut ourselves from the maximum of 250,000 pounds, particularly because I wasn't sure where the matching fund would come from, which is the key lesson I wanted to give in. If we had the network I have now, if they ask for $10 million, I will ask them, if they say $20 million, okay, so, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. All you have to do is even put it down there, and people will bring that matching fund.
If I say 20 million, if it was $20 million, and you have to show proof of $10 million, I'll say let's go. In fact, I think I can go up to $100 million, and if they say we show proof of 50 billion, I won't shake.
Yes,
like I literally won't.
Between now and next week Saturday, that proof will be there. And I know these guys. I know this because I'm part of PBN, so I know the network that has been built within that community. So again, what I'm picking out from this now is when you were leveraging whatever resources that you had on your own, you could only go for a certain type of opportunities. And even then you had to hedge, right? But today,
I was scared. I was so scared.
Right.
100,000.
From where to where? But the difference between that time and today, where because of the network that you have access to today, you literally can go after something as large as 100 million. And I say this because, and I want to really point this out, because people think that everyone, like rich people, do this all the time. You see someone that maybe so they are rich, but they are rich as per they have $10 million. And then you see them saying, oh, they want to acquire a sports team for $1 billion. But what they do is they know people. They come together. They will say, oh, one of them might have a contact at a bank that will finance the whole deal. Maybe by the time they do everything, the guy that actually brought the deal together doesn't put in $1, right? But because he has access to that network, they leverage the power of their network. They place a bid, they win it, they arbitrage that to like the investors. Maybe they'll get their own closing fee. And all of a sudden, he's walked away from there with a couple $1 million that he never put in anything except just having a network. So rich people do this. And we also, as we are trying to grow into like being more successful, literally, this is a pure illustration. The difference between what you could go after when you were riding on your resources versus what you can go after today, leveraging the access to a powerful network, a strong network. So that is literally your network putting you ahead putting you in a completely different wealth class, even before there is even any money in your account or that type of money in your account. You're like, I can do $100 million deal without me physically having $100 million because I know the network I have.
No kind of deal
that is mind-blowing.
There's no amount of deal you can bring
that
to
is,
me. No amount, and I'm not being, there's no amount that will make me shake, including $1 billion deal. I won't run. If we can't do it, then we can't do it. But I'm just going to call it and say, hey guys, or possibly this is what's happening, or there's the key thing is it legit? If we can ascertain that something is legit, there's really no let me just explain some of the things I've seen since the network. Seen someone build a high-rise in VI, Greystone. It's right there, next close to King's College. One person in our network owns a car manufacturing company. You know, it doesn't bring cars from America. They make cars in Lekki and they're in Ekpe, and they just signed they just signed a deal with Unilag to assemble cars inside Unilag. It's the fintech. I have a list of fintechs right now that we created. About 90 people, mind blown. They work in fintech finance. Amount of chief digital officers from banks are in the group. So the network is a lot stronger, and my net worth is potentially a lot stronger now because of all the things that I can do. You know, I've never invested before the network became stronger and richer. And I remember about richer money, I'm richer and like quality. And you know, now I think I'm on like 3 cap tables now. I'm also, aside of that.
Your internet is.
Can you hear me?
Maybe okay, you're back. You're back.
Okay.
So you said aside of that.
Aside of that, I also got an opportunity to. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I also got an opportunity to be on 4 companies' advisory boards, and I've gotten equity anywhere from 0.5% to 5%, based upon just this guy's network is stronger, or this guy is knowledgeable, this guy can connect me. And so if you add that to my network, it's gone up without even me putting $1. Yeah, I'm spending my time. My time is money too. I don't play my time anymore. If not that, this is AK. After that, please. I have an EA. I will just tell that.
Hey, I'm leveraging my network too, but let's jump into another question here, just so that we're moving through the questions that we've already outlined. So this is wonderful, right? But now, so I'm thinking, like, for the person that is just starting out, right? You're used to doing your thing. You're not really like someone like me. Yeah, like, let me just do my thing. I kind of like just, day by day, quote unquote. But like now you're realizing, okay, I need to network more, right? But there's a lot of things in my way. I'm busy, I'm shy, I'm introverted. How do I even start building a network? So what are the practical steps that I say, okay, I want to become more intentional about investing in my network. What do I do? How do I go about that?
Very, very good question. Think of a graphical representation of what a network looks like. I'm not talking about technical, like, network, it's like a web and it goes around. But that a lot of network starts from somewhere, right? It's a point and then it spreads out. So the network starting point is you, right? And this is not cliche or anything, right? If you think of from you to the farthest level of network or how spread your network is as a distance, but it starts from you and it continues to grow. What I'm trying to illustrate is you start with you, right? Then what's immediately around you? Anything around you. I've had this question asked before. How do you do network? I'm like, you have LinkedIn, right? The people that you're interested in knowing, send them a message. You attend conferences, introduce yourself. Key thing about network too is the first thing is, what can I offer? Which is, okay, if you're investing in real estate, what can I offer? Money. So what value can I offer? Now, the session we had yesterday, Manasa said something, and I want to share that now about your formation for personal finance. And he mentioned defense, midfield, and attack. And the defense is savings and budgeting. So understanding what you spend, understanding your cost, not losing your money, you don't want to concede the goal, which is a loss. And then the midfield, which is the critical thing because connects the attack was the defense. And then the midfield was literally your human capital. And in that sense, personal improvement. So you're getting a good education, do you have a good job, what are you doing with yourself? And there is where strong network lies, is how you build yourself up, how you improve yourself, your certifications that you get, things that you've done, volunteer work, you're religious, to belong to a society, all those things continue to boost you. So that's the midfield. And it connects with, what you're able to save and how you're budgeting, and also connects with the attack, which is income, which is from your job, from business, from investment. And then I also think income comes from strong network as well. But then if network lies in your human capital, in you, right? It's part of what brings you, because like me, for example, I got into a fellowship last year, Acumen Fellowship. It's increased a lot of things, my empathy, my leadership skills, how I manage conflicts. So what that also does is puts me in a better light, better position. People want to see me more. Started PBN, the Premia Business Network. The value is how it started and why it has created so much FOMO, fear of missing out. Now is value of the quality, because there's no day I wake up, because of time difference when I'm not in Nigeria, that I don't get, please can you add this person? Please can you add that person? Everything. The community has
build itself.
It has grown to 400. And the key thing is we started off by investing in ourselves and adding value first, and people can extract for it. So the big first thing you can always think about is, what can I add? And then I would say something real quick, AK, about introvertedness, or if I'm shy or anything.
Literally, I was about to land on that right now, because we have a question about it, and you also said I should remind you about it. So let's talk about that introverted part. And let me insert. So the question the person asked was, how does someone introverted or do have sexual anxiety build a network? That was also the same question I had. And then you said there's something interesting you actually learned from introverts about networking. So can you put it all together in your statement?
So one of the things, crazy thing was we learned this from the community. I do this thing called agenda. So you also learn, you pick insights. When I post something just in text and say, hey, let's talk about this, nobody answers. So what I started doing is using Canva. And now I've even monetized that. So if you want your company's logo on the agenda, you pay us weekly for that. But on the poster, we'll ask a question in bold text, and we can reshare it to reinforce it, and people respond. What we learned from that, from the agenda about personality quality traits, was that introverts are not quiet, and they're not necessarily shy either. What happens to introverts is that in a large crowd, they lose energy quickly, so they withdraw. So it's not that they don't want to talk to people, or they don't want to be rah-rah or anything. They will do it in smaller groups. They will do it with people they are familiar with. But when it's out there, when it's just a lot of stuff, they lose energy. Now, how can you, as someone that loses energy quickly, now function in an environment where you need to network, or where you need to know as many people as possible? So the key thing is, you first look for like-minded folks, or people that you can connect and relate with easily, which is always an easy thing. you look for pockets of places where you can congregate or meet people in a small group. Like, for example, let's take an example of big conference, 5,000 people. It's overwhelming. You want to lose your mind. But there's a reason why they do breakout sessions, right? So those breakout sessions are meant to hone in on specific topics. But believe it or not, what those sessions also do is allow folks that can't really function in the big nest of people to come into a smaller group, meet like-minded people, and engage. So if you take that same approach, you think of okay, so many people, where are some of the places that I can connect with? Smaller groups of like-minded folks. If you start thinking of that way, then you start to come out of your shell, or come out of, because you're also going to be uncomfortable a little bit. That's risk that you have to take. You put money in investment, something may happen, something may not happen. So, and it doesn't mean that everybody you connect with is going to be your network or everything is going to be great. You're going to have bad experiences in your network as well. But I think when you start from somewhere, from the base of the starting point of network, around people that are like-minded, that you're a little bit more comfortable with, then you grow out from there. And then but the key thing too is you can't suffer in silence. If people don't know that you need something, there's no way they're gonna be able to help you or reciprocate. Again, if you don't invest in real estate, you can't get returns from real estate. I always have to use the practical,
tangible, yes.
Example, so people can always remember, if you don't invest in a network, you can't gain from a network. If we don't religiously do in PBN, for example, do agendas, connecting people. There are 400 people in the group. I know all 400. Don't try to think that I'm not lying. Ask it.
He does.
Oh, so the thing is, you have to be intentional. The intentionality, I mean, even if you don't communicate in a certain way, even if you're an introvert, you still have to be intentional. We all have needs. We all have things that we need to get done.
Awesome. That's it. That's an amazing insight and an amazing answer. So I'm an ambivert, right? And I used to be dubious. So I'm like you. I kind of have to be one or the other. But I actually realized that I am an ambivert. Legitimately, I can both. And you see me in PBN sometimes. I'm in the flow. I'm joining the banter. We're talking and all. And sometimes I'm just like more just let me read and watch. I'm like that in real life too. I'll be in a big group and be having the time of my life. And sometimes, I can be by myself and be having the time of my life. So it's interesting to realize that for every mood or every style you are, there is an approach that allows you to network, right? Another thing I like that you pointed out is, so your network starts with you and the people immediately around you. So even if you're an introvert, there are already people that are close enough to you, and you have to open up. You have to get over that reluctance to tell people what's going on, right? Because again, people need to know for them to then help you. So this is insightful. Another question someone asked is, how do you meet these people? Do you just shoot friendship shots at anyone because you want to be rich in people, or is that like a good motivation? And again, it's one of the questions I prepared here. Let me also put a few of them, because again, we're starting to run out of time. Even though for this meeting, guys, if you don't mind, we're going to go a little bit over our 1 hour time, because again, the conversation is so interesting and it's so varied that it requires a little bit of time to tease out different areas of it. So, but the way I put this together is, one, do you shoot friendship shots? And the person said, is it a good motivation that, I just want to be reachable, I want to know these people? And I also added, how do you deal with the fact that you don't want people to look at you as a quote unquote social climber? Or maybe you do, or maybe you don't care. But how do you deal with the fact that sometimes people are like, that person is always in everyone's face, and it starts to like look a certain way? So how do you manage that? And then do you just shoot shots at people? How do you build that?
All right. Ari is almost coming to how can we join this your network? If you know someone in the group that is your friend and they refer you, it's referral based. So if
Invite
you network reach there and someone knows you, they bring you in. It's not in my own hands. So how do you? Your question was how do you go about?
Do you just shoot shots at people?
You just shoot first shot. You don't. I don't. I always start from a position of value. It actually irks me when I see social climbers or anything. Before I gain anything from you, I'm thinking, what can I add to you? What value can I add? So you see, a lot of times it's a give and takes, but I lead with giving, not with taking. I'm not trying to be cliche or anything. I just lead with giving. So I'm like, hey, how's it going? You know, start talking. Okay, cool. I'm like, hey, have you heard of? I always stop. Oh wait, oh, do you know this guy? Oh, have you heard of? He's doing something interesting in your industry. Oh, do you know? Oh, I don't know. I can connect you. That's how I start mostly. If it's an investor, and I know that they like investing in certain things, I'm like, I saw this company. Oh, you might want to take a look. You know, or hey, did you hear about? Share information, I share stuff. I always lead with value. I always 9 out of 10 I lead with value. Sometimes networks will come to me too based on, oh, you know, hey, we know you, da da da. But when I'm intentional about creating network, being in a network or anything, my first thing is value. There's a reason why, I mean, PBN, and it's always a reference point because, you know, this is where I've seen this done at scale. People say, I need to charge money. I'm like, relax. The first thing for us is the value. Deliver value, undeniable value, quantifiable value that people can't deny. They can't say, this group said, what are we benefiting from? Oh, we invested in X company and the value of our investment is now this amount. Oh, this and this person and that person partner. So many partnerships happen in the group. AK was stranded one day. A group member saw him on the road. Am I lying?
Yeah. So let me tell you guys this story. Just it's like very briefly. So yeah, I'd been in the group, you know, maybe like a month or two. So I was driving somewhere that morning and my car had an issue and I was stuck. I was calling someone to try and figure out how to get out. And then someone was driving by and they just pulled up. They were like, yo, I know you. Aren't you a part of PBN? I'm like, yeah, I'm AKA. He's like, yeah, I'm PBN too. And he told me his name. And I was like, what's going on? Okay, you know what? I'm heading your direction. Get in, let me drop you. And that was how I made my appointment. Turned out he was even going to the same place. And I had never seen this person before. However, because we had been in that group together, he recognized me. And immediately he said, oh yeah, I'm part of PBN. I just knew, yeah, instantly. Now my people be this. Like somehow.
One of the biggest disarming tool right now. If you go somewhere, I use the PBN.
Don't tell them. I let people not be any go and be saying it. So
no, well, if you don't remember, they will know. But the key thing
know.
is identifying with a network or a common thing. Because sometimes you meet someone, how do I approach them? I don't know. But if you have something in common, something you can relate to, those are very easy ways to break into a conversation or break into a network or, you know, cultivate a friendship is something in common. So if you're going to take anything away from all of what I'm saying is lead with value, have value. And that goes back to, but how do you lead with value? Improving yourself. Because if you don't read books, if you don't get a good education, acquire skills, and do a lot of things that improves yourself, get exposed to different things, how do you lead value, right? So we go back to the personal finance formation. That human capital is so key because that's the surest way to get you to leading with value. read a lot of books on business, for example, or you watch movies, or you've improved yourself, or you do different things, or you travel. All those things, it improves because you never know. An experience you had in Accra could be a very big conversation starter with someone that you've been trying to connect with. So improving yourself is a key point in terms of value and how you can deliver value. Because if you improve yourself, you have quality, people want to associate with you. So you leave with value, see what you can do with folks, and then you start. Everything is also gradual. Nothing will happen at once. So you start from where you are, people around you. Even you, if you can, create networks, create pockets of networks, because that's also your assets. That's also what you're bringing to the table. If I didn't know quite a amount of people before and I started this network, trying to network with people, the value won't be that quick or strong. It's because, okay, you're also bringing something to the table. You know, some things are cliches, but Odun Ewini from Biggie Vest taught me something about cliches. Say, I don't like them, but they are true.
That's very true.
I don't like them either. You know, there's somebody bring to the table. And you know, you say, oh, I'm the table, I bring the other whatever you that's you. But bring something to the table, because that's the value that you're bringing. And that value helps you unlock a lot of things, networks, opportunities, income, all of that stuff. So you can be shy, but you have something to bring to the table. I mean, people are not shy to go to school now. Are you shy? You want to do masters? Are you shy to do masters? Are you shy to learn a skill? Are you shy to learn public speaking? You're not shy now. You know, I'm shy, I'm introverted, but they give you an exam now, you write it though. So you can't. One thing I'm sure of is you're not shy about improving yourself. So improving yourself, you have value.
We're losing you. Bola, it looks like we've lost you. Are you back?
Cool. At least it lasted over an hour before
you're back. Yeah. All right. So let's wrap up. Let's start to summarize. We've answered a lot. I was looking for like a few other questions that I guess we've not touched on in some way, but let me throw in a few things. First of all, guys, so this community Rise Investment Club is the community arm of Rise. So what Rise does is we allow anybody in Nigeria and also other parts of the world, but if you are Nigerian, we allow you to invest in dollar-denominated assets. And then our community is dollar-denominated assets. You can start from anywhere from $1 to whatever amount that you have. You earn your returns in dollars, you get protection from devaluation, your money grows faster than inflation, and you can get access to our products by downloading the app at RiseVest, RISEVEST, or going to our website, www.risevest.com, read up on what we're offering and get started with that journey. For our community side, we focus on helping people learn and develop their financial literacy skills, financial knowledge, become better at making financial decisions and growing their wealth in a more intentional way. So that's what we do. And every month we have this Zoom session. Sometimes we do in-house, and every now and then we bring in brilliant guests who come and talk to us about different aspects of what we do. So please download the app, join our platform, and really participate in our community. Again, this is your network. that is helping you collectively grow towards financial success. And then our guest Bola has a product called LearnAm, where you can learn any skill. So it's come LearnAm on Twitter. Bola is learnam.com, right? The website.
LearnAm.Africa, www.learnam.Africa.
www.learnam.africa. You can pick up any new skill. You can learn in English, in Pidgin, in any of our indigenous languages. And you can learn through multiple mediums, text message, videos, online. So it's a powerful learning platform. So the few questions that I have, and we're just going to do them rapid fire because we're really over the time. So the first one is, what is the one, well, before I go into that, one thing I picked up on that you've said that I want to emphasize, because I've also said it here in our community at different times, is start with value, starts with offering value, right? And don't be in a hurry to try and harvest the value you've, give it time, just do it, build up on it, but offer something, and over time, people will also reciprocate that gesture. It's true about investing. I've said it, it's funny how all of these things kind of have a lot of similarities, because it's true about your investing, it's true about your business. If you're offering a business, don't try and well, let me make all the money at once. Create value for your customers and allow them to then, as you build that relationship with them, grow that value, right? So I picked up on that, and I want to emphasize it because you start to see that when it comes to making wealth or building wealth, the principles are the same. You can apply it in different ways, socially, in your business, in sales, in your finances, but the principles are the same. Another thing that is also underestimated is how you kind of have to have a generous spirit, and it's learned behavior, right? And I point that out because Bola here is also one of those people that he will offer you whatever he can. He will help out in any way he can. He's not going to ask you, before I do this for you, do you want to give me this or do you want to do this? He's just going to do it. And if he helps you, great, he's happy. And tomorrow, if that then helps, like if you want to also help him, that's fine. But if you don't, that's okay. And when he does things like that, when it's like with BBN, we talk about, oh, now we have to start monetizing. Everybody in that group, I bet you, will be more than happy because we've seen the value, we've enjoyed it, we've participated in it, we've contributed to it. And we also know that when we do events together, all of us benefit from it. So one question I do want to ask is, one, what is one thing that you consider a networking no? Like, don't ever do this type of thing if you want to build your network successfully. What's the one thing or one or two things that you should never do?
So unlike an investment, it's not a transaction. In my own opinion. You going into a networking arrangement or trying to build a network and you assume it's a transaction, a reciprocal transaction. I think personally, some people may disagree. Approaching it as a transaction is problematic because it's not measurable. For example, if I want to invest in something now, I know what amount I'm putting in, even if a return is not guaranteed. If they can tell me, oh, estimated return, I have an idea. And then I have an idea of value that can come back to me. When you go in and thinking everything it has to be reciprocal, it's kind of like when you getting married as well. It's not reciprocal. Not everything will be the same. And sometimes you want to do something, do it just because you want to do it. And if the goodwill comes back to you, which net will eventually do. If you help 100 people, at some point you're going to need help. And from that 100, somebody's going to help you. So that's transactional too, because embedded in that now comes with all these lofty expectations that people have, and that, I said, I know this guy, and one of the things I don't do as part of networking, or I won't come out unless we've done stuff together, we have that trust, is asking for money, or asking for monetary favors, especially if you've not built a relationship. And there's a very key thing to distinguish between a network and a relationship. It's very key to understand the difference between network and a relationship. You invest in a relationship over time. You invest in a relationship over time. It's not so just because this person is your network, they're a friend. Like out of the 400 people in PBN, not all of them are my friends. Maybe 100. I won't say 100 because my friendship to me is a little bit more serious than that. Maybe I'll say 30 are like people I consider friends. Some are close associates. Some are associates. Some are just members. Right? Which is also good for clarity to always distinguish things. So no one is delusional or deluded about anything. There are folks that are my friends that I can say, yeah, I need 200K. I'll give you end of the month. They all trust them. Nobody even big deal. But I won't, a close associate or maybe if a member, I won't just necessarily do that. Oh, Bola, I need to, help me. Bola, alpha now. So it all depends on the level of relationship. And in relationships are things you invest in a relationship. It doesn't just happen. It's not abstract. It's not just a wild thing that will just happen. So it's very key to understand, make that distinction in relationship, in the whole networking process, that you have to invest in a relationship. And so depending on the level of where you are in a relationship, you have to be guarded with what your proposition is, or what you're trying to do, what you're asking for, because it can be a real turnoff. And that's why I always say lead with value. Don't lead with
that's what I want.
I want, because that's a very big no-no, and it's a turnoff. You just realize that, why is this guy not responding to my message anymore? you understand? I'm sending a message now, answer me now. Because the underlying thing too in relationship building, in network building, is trust.
Yes,
it's trust. A system of trust is literally the fuel. Even customers need to trust you to give you that money. They may give it to you, when they don't trust you anymore, they won't give it to you anymore. So even if you're in a scalability cycle, I want to assume that a big component of scaling is trust. So it applies to a lot of things. Apply to have a look at our leaders, our government. If you don't trust them, we don't trust their policies, we don't trust what they ask us to do, because we don't believe that they're going to do what they need to do. Someone trusts you within the community, they can do business with you easily, they can collaborate, they can partner, they can assist you, connect you, show you the way. Like I mentioned, if I had not met Wale through PBN, we've done stuff together, he knows me, like 5K, okay, whatever. Maybe I said, I know I have to see your money before I put you on the deal. That's how I lost out on
a massive opportunity.
A massive opportunity for return. So trust is key.
All right, thank you, Bola. Please, can you tell everyone again? I know we've talked about this, but tell them, put it on the chat box if you want. How does someone reach out to you? Again, I've seen a lot of people talking about, this is mind blowing. This is great. You've made my day. I've learned so much. So I'm sure that there are people who might want to reach out to you and maybe shoot their shots and maybe offer value to you. So where's a good place for them to reach out? And also, what's a good place for someone to learn more about your product, LearnAm, and whatever else that you want to share with the group, so that they know what to do with that information? Please share with us real quick.
So on Twitter and Instagram, I'm BWLAWAL. You can reach out there. I post, but a lot of times I'm in PBN, but I post a lot on social media as well. Please don't ask me for money. I know you won't. The reason why I'm saying that is a turn up for me. I've had people ask me for shoe. I don't know if I'm like, don't worry, I'll send it to you. If you ask me for the same amount of the shoe, I won't answer you. I'm just wired that way. I'm just wired that way. I'm just programmed that way. I don't know why. Then be intentional about your ask. If you ask general questions, I may not see it as urgent and I may not answer you. But if you're very intentional about needing something, and if there's something you want to teach me, that's a very good way of getting my attention too. Say, hey, Bola, do you know that have you heard, whatever. My company, LearnAm, is on Twitter.
All right. So guys, you can find out more about LearnAm on Twitter. So the handle is LearnAm. The website is www.learnam.africa. And then Bola is also going to share his Twitter handle.
I've done that. Yeah, I've done that to everyone.
Please feel free to reach out. And those of you who are part of our community, if you have particular questions or any things that you want to add, you need me to reach out to him, because again, we have some of you here who are also doing really interesting things, and you have something that maybe on the education side, maybe on the networking side, maybe on the investment side, maybe on whatever side, you need to have a conversation with Bola. Reach out to me, and I'll also make that introduction. So it's been super insightful. Thank you so much, Bola. You've shared a lot to us. We are richer for it. And you are also someone that we can say that you are also part of Rise's community. I mean, I know you use the product. I know we know each other as well, but now the community also knows you. And so whenever I talk about Bola and LearnAm, they will know that you are also part of that network as well. So it's been a pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you so much for making the time, and we appreciate you for coming.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
All right, then. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you guys for all joining. Please, there's a recording of this that will be shared to all of us in the Telegram group. Also there'll be, we'll have other resources that we'll pull out of this that we're going to share. But as always, please continue to add your invest more into your Rise account, invest more into your other investments, but also invest very much more into your network as well. It's part of the reason we talk about this community. Ask someone, if you're thinking about the value you can offer to someone in your network, take the link for Rise's investment community and tell them, yo, send to everybody in your network and say, join this community. I'm learning a lot. I'm investing well. My money is growing in dollars and I'm getting a lot of benefits. And I want you to get the same benefits. That's literally a foundational action that all of you need to do in order to start to add value to your network. And then people will also respond to that. And you can kind of start doing better and growing your network even better. Because again, people remember, this is the person that told me about this and actually helped me to get these benefits, and therefore tomorrow they might tell you about something that you also need to know. So please, it's always a pleasure. We look forward to next month for another Zoom session where we're talking about something else as well. As always, let's keep it going, keep smashing our goals, and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you.